Well, hello everyone and welcome to a very tropical episode of Wild Your Garden. Today I'm with my good friend Jim, and if you've been following the channel lately, then do stay tuned. You will have probably seen the recent video I did of the announcement where I'll be coming to Panama, and hey, where are we, Jim?
We're in Panama.
Exactly.
Focus del Toro, Panama to be exact.
Yeah, we're on Isla Bastimentos, aren't we?
That's correct, Isla Bastimentos. In the province of Bocas del Toro, which is in the northwest of the country. It's on the Caribbean side.
Part of the archipelago, isn't
That's
it?
correct, yeah. The islands are in the archipelago. And, you know, it's on the northern side of the, you know, most people think Panama runs from north and south, and it really runs east to west. It's a little confusing.
For a while, yeah.
We're on the Caribbean slope and the western side of the country, so closer to Costa Rica than Colombia.
Oh, I know, yeah. 2.5 days to get here from London. So
That was an accident.
Yeah, well. So, yeah, we're here to, believe it or not, probably, knowing me, you'd have already guessed, we're going to be building a wildlife pond because it's the only real habitat that you guys are lacking on the island, Jim, isn't
That's right. It's, you know, we've lived
Which is incredible to believe.
Yeah.
Tropical rainforest.
We've lived on site here for over 20 years, and it's something that we've always wanted, is to have a, you know, a natural water feature, which would be a habitat for so many different things. You know, we have a lot of running creeks and things like that, but there's no stationary, you know, water element.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to bring a lot of birds to bathe, and dragonflies and butterflies, and maybe some turtles, and maybe even a caiman or two.
Yeah.
So and then at night, you know, all the mammals are going to use it, I believe, to bathe and wash and.
You've got because you've got the specialist night monkey, which was
there's western night monkeys. There's
white-faced
3 species of opossum. There's there's anteaters. There's agoutis. There's it's on and on. Lots of different.
For future videos to come, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, because you've got the mangroves, you've got all this beautiful tropical forest, you've got
3 different ecosystems on site. Yeah,
incredible. And from what I've literally seen in the last 24 hours, I mean, this is the first full day on the island. It's just every single bird is a new species for me. Every single butterfly is a new species. There are dozens of dragonflies around, so they're going to love this spot, particularly because we've got a nice kind of natural open clearing in this area behind us, where I think it's just going to be absolutely perfect for a pond. Yeah,
I think it's going to be really nice too. And there's a lot of these butterflies that are kind of stay in the forest, and I think it's going to bring them out because we're right on the edge of you know, really nice forest habitat. So I think it's going to attract some of those butterflies out more into the open, where you can get some shots of them. Yeah,
particularly because obviously a lot of them, they imbibe. Those of you that have been watching the channel for a while, you'll have seen videos that I've done on different butterflies in the UK. And they imbibe salts with their proboscis, don't they? So they get salts and minerals from damp mud. If you've ever seen them on a track in a woodland, that's
the
what
minerals
they're doing.
that are left behind in the soil as the water fluctuates up and down.
Yeah. So these damp margins around the pond are going to be absolutely perfect for them, because of course everywhere else, nearly everywhere else in the jungle, it's just grown over
in your face,
because everything is just so
fighting
rich.
for sun, and everything's trying to get height so it can get to the top of the canopy and get sun, and it's just a battle. We didn't even mention frogs. You know, around the edge there, you're talking about that wet habitat's going to be. That's where frogs like to lay their eggs on the bottom of leaves when they're hanging over a water element.
Great.
And that could be a leaf with water in it in the jungle, but here, you know, with the pond, it's gonna bring a lot of frog life.
And we've obviously got quite a lot of leaves now. Most of you watching this will be thinking, well, you can't build a pond in a woodland. Well, you can. They do work. Obviously, they need a bit of sunlight, but you can see the area behind us, which we'll take a look at in a moment, is a really nice little clearing. It's getting sun for a good few hours of the day, isn't it?
That's right. Probably 3 to 4 hours a day, because we, you know, sun's here in the tropics is 12 and 12. So, you know, the sun has almost a more direct angle too, and because the hole in the canopy is pointed east to west direction, it just happens so that, you know, 3 to 4 hours there's a nice sun patch right here over where the water will be.
So it's going to be perfect. Yeah. Excuse our very sweaty appearances. Jim's had the forethought to bring a spare shirt just before we press record. So
hey, I've been working in this all day,
I know,
man. I'm just used to it.
So yeah, it's very, very hot. Sort of average temperatures here are pretty consistent all year, aren't they?
Yeah, but we have an 86-degree daytime high, 73 nighttime low. So it's fairly mild. I mean, 86 is hot to your audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to my audience in Texas, that's nothing. But the humidity can be about 81%, usually 80 to 82%, and about mid 80s. Yeah, so that's our normal. And then it cools off at night. So the mornings are nice.
But the humidity is...
That's right. It's just always, it's omnipresent.
Yeah. So absolutely covered. The guys that are going to be helping us do this wildlife pond are a lot more accustomed to the,
that's
to the climate
than
we are. Yeah. So yeah, stick around. So obviously in this video we'll be making the wildlife pond and documenting it through the next few days. We're here for about another 10 days, something like that. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see it naturally fill up a little bit with some water and start filming. Fingers crossed.
Good nighttime rain.
Yeah. Fingers crossed what turns up and what we can start to document. But also stay tuned, because I will be bringing more videos to the channel in a specific Panama playlist, of which you can see all the kind of flora and fauna that we're hopefully going to see over the next 10 days. Got some really cool stuff lined up for you guys. So hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to subscribe to Jim's channel as well. Tranquilo Bay. I'll put a link in below, and you can obviously visit Jim's YouTube channel as well, where he films some incredible wildlife throughout the year and shows you guys exactly what you can expect. Of course, if you want to come to Panama, Jim's the man to speak to. So yeah, okay. So shall we have a look at the site now, Jim, and we'll get a tape out and start measuring it out.
Yeah, get a water level going and figure out what our slope is and all that. That's a good idea.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, so the site is obviously behind us. We're going to now mark out the liner size. Well, you guys like to work in feet and inches, don't you?
Yeah.
I can do it, but
it's 35 by 20. 20 is 6 meters.
Yep.
And 35 is going to be about 8. A little bit less than 8, 7 and a half maybe.
Maybe 10.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's over.
I mean, you know.
It's 11 and a half.
That's about right.
11 and a
yeah,
half.
That's got to be right. Yeah. We will check. Don't worry.
Yeah. 35 by 20.
So we've got roughly about a 6 by 11 area to play with, but that's of course the entirety of the liner. So that's not taking into consideration, you know, the drop slope, in the middle, which we'll aim to have, as you guys will already know, 3 to 4 feet of water in the middle, which of course will be a great little habitat. Sure. I would say as well that we are hoping to be able to fill this pond up naturally with rainwater, aren't we, Jim? From all the buildings that are collected on site, we're going to funnel it through a little.
We have our barn and our staff quarters collect the water, and then when they overflow, it just goes to ground. And this was the natural area where it would start to run to. From here, it goes into the forest and makes a little creek through the forest, but it drains off very rapidly. So if we could aim to have the low point over that end, so that when it does overflow, if it needs to, it can just carry on down to the forest. It will. We need to plan for an overflow. You don't get much rain here, do you? It's not a tropical rain forest. Let's see. We do measure our rain in meters because it's easier. So we get 5 meters of rain annually here. Wow. 75% of which comes at night. You compare that to East Anglia in the UK, where I'm from originally. 25 inches or something. A couple of feet. Maybe something like that. But insane amount of rain. Hence why everything is so big and lush and green, and we've got all the diversity. That's correct. Right. Well, let's get a tape then. So if we're going about, say, 4 foot maximum either side, so that's 8 foot we've got to take off of our maximum, which is 35 foot, you say? Yep. Well, 35 foot is like to the tarp laid out flat. Yeah. Plus we want a little bit of an overlap. Yeah, exactly. You know, maybe a foot either side, something like that. You eat up some with the curve. Yeah. So if we take 10 foot off, so we've got then 25 feet. Okay. We can go 25 by let's do same again off the width. 10. So it was. That'd be 15. 15. Yeah. So 15 by 25. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, brilliant. Perfect. Let's have a measure. All right. Okay, well that's the pond pretty much marked out as to what I think it will be in terms of the final dimensions. We're just going to double check the size of the liner, and then we're going to meet the guys that are going to be helping us dig this wildlife pond. Okay, so Jim, we've got 3 budding young men here who are far more accustomed to the climate than you and I are. Yeah, that's exactly right. They haven't got a bead of sweat on them at the moment. And you and I are drenched already. We've not even lifted a spade. Just standing around making YouTube videos and we're drenched. These guys are gonna show you how it's done. Great. This is your Panama team, Joel. So
I like it. I like it.
These guys have been preparing for a few weeks, you know,
Great.
just to get the site cleared and move some of the materials around that we were going to be accessing.
Tons and tons of boulders,
tons and tons of boulders.
Music to my eyes.
No heavy equipment, by the way. So this is all done by hand. Wow. And anyway, Macario actually has some rock working experience from working with some people on the Pacific side, making rock walls at some of the ranches there.
Nice.
So he has a little experience moving rocks. Anyways, I'll introduce these guys. They live on Isla Popa, which is about, their village is about 5 miles.
The island is just literally...
Just that direction.
So we came past it on the way in on the boat.
That's correct. You came in between Bastimentos and Isla Popa, so it's the next island over. And about 1 kilometer in distance from where our island stops to that one, the passage in between the two, but their village is about 4 miles away from there. So it's about a 5-mile ride for them to get to and from their village. They're part of the indigenous tribe called Nobe.
Okay.
So that's N-G-O with 2 dots, B-E. Okay, and
there's 3 indigenous tribes.
There's like 7 indigenous tribes in Panama, and they're the largest of the 7. And they their area is here on the Caribbean slope of Panama, and also over the mountains onto the Pacific slope over there. So traditionally they grow coffee and things like that, and then seasonally they would come over here for turtles and other things that were going at the time. So they were lobsters also. So they would come back and forth for conch, lobsters, and turtles. And they've been doing this since pre-Columbian times, for more than 3,000 years ago.
But now thanks to Tranquilo Bay.
Thanks to Tranquilo Bay, they have, that's right. Now, some of these guys, Alvaro's dad actually worked with us and we were building the facility. Wow. So he's like 2nd generation now. And
so
he's
how
been
many,
with us
how
for
many
10
years
years
ago was that?
This was 23 years ago.
Wow.
23 years ago is when we started, and his father worked with us for a while.
Wow.
So, anyways, I'll make the introduction to you. I know you've met them all, but let everyone know. This is Macario, this is Ovidio, and this is Alvaro.
And Alvaro very kindly brought us from the mainland by the boat.
He's one of our boat captains and also one of our spotters. So when we're out in birding tours and stuff like that, he's an excellent hand to have on board because he's very handy with the boat, but he can also see all the birds and knows what they are. So he will probably be guiding for us one day in the future. And that's another thing. That's something you can start out here doing construction work, and then you can move to boat captain, and then from boat captain you can move to a naturalist guide.
Great.
And once you can learn English.
Sure.
It's like a whole nother education here for these guys. It's a profession, and that's something that they didn't have before we came. So. And
most importantly, have these guys built a wildlife fund before?
Let's ask him.
Let's ask him.
Yo quiero saber si en antes tú creas una piscina así en el bosque.
Normalmente nosotros no, algo natural en piscina en lugares de nosotros es como natural, pero nunca lo hemos hecho como esto. Esto es la primera vez que vamos a ver cómo lo vas a hacer y para el futuro después podemos hacer algo, no sé.
Oh wow, okay, so he said, no, they've never built one like this. They have some naturally in the forest, where creeks run in, and they've even, dammed those up with some rocks to cause a bit of a backup, and they use those areas to wash laundry and to swim and to do things like that, but they've never built one naturally, but he's interested in learning how to do it so that they have the knowledge for the future.
Here we go,
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, gracias, guys. I mean, I'm really excited. I can't wait to work with you and see if we can make this into something really special.
I think we can. And in the midst of preparing for this project, there was a fallen log that came right across this area right here.
Oh wow.
And we got a chainsaw to cut it up. And these guys are really handy with the chainsaw, and I can show you later some types of work that they do.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes when there's fallen trees and we cut them up, they make useful things out of them. That's culturally what they do. They use what they have at hand to make something. So they made you a little token of their appreciation for coming all the way from England, from the other side of the world, to do this.
All morning I've been thinking, what is under that sheet?
It's not tools, Joel.
Oh, well.
Well, it's a tool for you, maybe. All right, so. This was made right here.
Wow.
And
oh, look at that.
Yeah. We got your logo
even
off
says
of the
Wildflowers
website there.
Logo. Look at that. Gracias.
So this was the buttress. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but this was the buttress of the log that was lying here on the ground. So
Amazing.
it's all a solid tree. And
Wow.
they cut that with the chainsaw into a chair form, made a tabletop board and put it on there. And then my daughter Bodie painted the logo on
Wow,
there.
fantastic. Well,
So-
I have to say that is a first for the Wild Your Garden YouTube channel.
We made it
very own
travel
chair.
size too, so you could. It's large enough where you can actually
Brilliant.
pay for it to get
That
it
looks
home.
like it'll go through easy.
No
through
problem.
customs, yeah.
No problem.
And that's actually a really good excuse for me to test it out for the rest of the next 10 days.
Yeah, you should see. You should see if it fits, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, Joel.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
you very much for
guys.
coming.
Yeah,
We appreciate it. Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
looking forward to the
Thank
project.
you, guys. Gracias. Gracias.
Thank you very
Muchas
much.
gracias. Thank you. Right, well, fantastic.
Let's get to work.
Let's get the chair to one side and get digging.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Okay, so day 2 here in beautiful Panama, and as you can see, yesterday we managed to get the entire top level dug down to where we know we're happy with the level. Over to the right we're going to have a little bit of a ditch that naturally comes into the pond to keep it topped up from some of the overflow from some of the outbuildings, etc. So a really good way of catching the natural rainwater. Not that there's a shortage of it here in Panama on a yearly basis. So yes, we've dug down, we've got it all level, and what we're doing now is we're building a bit of a dam on the far side, because there's actually, believe it or not, about a 13.5 inch fall from the ground here to the ground over there. So we're building the ground up, supporting it with this fabulous stone that's on site that is extremely heavy. So we're doing that. We're kind of doing a double row, and then we're putting another one on top of that, so that then we can obviously tuck the liner into those rocks and hide it all. It'll all be wonderful when it's done, trust me. So yeah, so today we're going to be digging the main part of the pond, along with finishing off the supporting wall, the retaining wall at the bottom of the pond. So lots more to do yet. I'll be glad when it's lunchtime and I can clean off temporarily. These guys are working fantastically, and if Jim's not careful, he's going to be several guys down by the time the end of this trip comes, because they'll be coming back to England on a plane with me and helping me build these ponds in England. Isn't that right, Jim?
What's that?
You might end up losing these guys.
Yeah.
They might be coming back to England.
They may be done with Tranquilo Bay when they're finished with this project. That may be the end of it.
So lots of digging to do, so better get on with it. Okay, so good morning so far. We've got the first double course of stoning across the back of the area now. The guys are starting to dig out in the centre of the pond where we're almost hitting subsoil to level out that bottom area, so we've got a shelf that is level all the way around for the rocks and plants to obviously be planted into, well, the rocks to sit on and the plants to go into once we've backfilled with the subsoil, once it's lined of course. But at this end now I've just found the gold, if you like. So the real red stuff, which is the subsoils, which no doubt many of you are used to seeing this sort of coloration of soil, probably not quite as orange as this, but most of the ponds I do, obviously I find the subsoil before I then put it back on top of the liner to make for a very good medium for planting back into, so it's not too rich, it's not going to encourage algal blooms and that sort of thing. So yeah, this is the real gold, and we're only just starting to hit that now down in this corner, but no doubt once we get a little bit deeper in the centre we'll start to find that properly, mine it out, stick it to one side, and then we can yes, get it all finally dug out before we line the pond. So a lot of digging to do yet, so better get on with it.
I told them that you're having a prize. When you watch all the video, that whoever worked the hardest is going to win. And last night we checked it out, and I'm in the lead. So.
Oh yeah, but that was a bit where I wasn't here. You know what would really help, Jim?
Yeah.
If the pickaxe didn't keep coming back half a pound heavier each time.
Oh shit, I know, dude. It feels like that with every step too, your shoes.
Yep.
Mira, otro vez estás en mi lado. Él está peor desde el inicio.
Right, so we are nearly at full depth. We've got just a few more inches to dig in the middle of the pond. As you can see, we've got some nice tapering sides now. We've got this shelf up here, which is the kind of shallow bay area where we're going to have some rocks. Hopefully we can get a few shots of some caiman and things in this shallow end of the pool. Who knows what's going to turn up, so it's going to be really great. We've got a last minute helper of the day, Joel, my Panamanian Joel. He's come to help us with just flagging a bit. It's been a slog today, it really is. The clay has been real heavy, sticky, but anyway, the hard part is nearly over, and tomorrow we are going to get this thing lined 100%, and hopefully then we can start letting all the natural rain, which we get quite a lot of, it seems, overnight on an average day, can start filling the pond up. So fingers crossed we'll have some water in this thing tomorrow.